Hi, in next 10 minutes I will be talking about currying function concepts in JavaScript. First of all, welcome to the channel Dive into JS Funda, and let's discuss the following. What is currying function and why currying function is needed, and most frequently asked questions on currying functions in interviews. If you sit for JavaScript or a front-end developer interview, you might definitely face some questions on this currying function. And yeah, first let's start with what is currying function. As you know, in JavaScript we have a multiple types of functions like pure function, cached function, anonymous function, closure functions. The same way, currying is also one function type. In fact, currying applies the concepts of closures because like in closures, like this in closures, the function can access the scope of the outer function, whether it comes to parameters or the variables. Even the currying also, it applies the same closure logic, same closure concept. Yes, by code definition, we can say that the concept of currying, it does convert a function with multiple input parameters into a multiple nested functions with one or more parameters. Okay, don't get confused. We'll look into the very simpler syntax and how you can make it more scalable solution in next few minutes. Yeah, this is a simple syntax I just wanted to show you. You will be having a outer function. Here in this example you can see f name is the outer function, and f name is the outer function, and which is accepting a parameter param1, and it is returning a function which is again accepting a parameter parameter2, and you would be writing your logic here, whatever you want to implement for your task to be performed, and you will return this function. Yes, this is how the basic syntax looks like. Now let's go ahead and implement the currying functions. For our requirement, like sum of inputs, you will be passing some parameters, and your function should perform the addition of the parameters passed, and it should return you the result. This is the basic requirement we have. And generally what we do, we define the function in a way parameter 1 and parameter 2, and returns the parameter 1 plus parameter 2. The same function, let's see how we can convert into the currying function. As a definition, we discussed a few minutes back. Currying function means it converts the function with multiple parameters into a multiple functions with one or more parameters. So we can write like 1 and 2. Okay, and this is how we can convert a basic function into a currying function. Now let's go and implement the logic. Let sum of inputs equal to, I'm applying the flat arrow function syntax. You can use the regular function conventional way of function definition also, using the function keyword. And yeah, so now if you look at this, the first part, sum of inputs of 1, only till this part, it should accept the parameter 1 parameter, and it should return you a function, and which can take the next parameter passed. So first let's go step by step. It should accept one parameter. Yes, now param1, it will accept the parameter 1 which is passed. Now it should return your function. That will be yes, but the return function should capable of accepting a next argument. So let's write param2. Now what is our main expected task your function should perform? That is, it should return you the input parameters passed, the sum of input parameters passed, param1 plus param2. That is what we are expecting this function to do. So now let's check what it will return. Sum, and call the function. Let's comment this. This is just for our understanding how the syntax equivalent between the two conventional way and curring function. Return param1 param2. Okay, cool. So now you let's format this document also for the clear understanding, readability. So now we are calling with first parameter and expecting a function to be returned, yes, and the return function should accept the next parameter, yes, it is accepting, and the final result we are expecting, it should return the sum of first parameter and the second parameter passed. Cool, it looks cool. Now let's go ahead and execute curring function.js, and it should return 3. Yes, it returned 3. So now we achieved converting a basic regular function into a curring function. Now let's look at the how we can scale this function implementation so that it can accept any number of input parameters passed. What I meant is, suppose in this example we just have a one parameters 1 and 2, but you might be having multiple parameters n. Now how can we convert this into the curring function? It's the same way, and it will accept your parameters, how many n parameters, and you would be calling the the final result like this. Okay, this is how the syntax equivalent to your the regular function. Now let's look at your curring function implementation just now, which we wrote for only with 2 parameters. Do you think which which will satisfy the same? Let's look at it. So sum of 1 and 2 we wrote, it is returning sum of 1 and 2, it will return you sum of param1 plus param2. But actually if you look at the syntax, you are expecting sum of inputs 1 and 2 should return a function, and it should capable of taking the accepting the next parameter 3. Like that it should accept till the the parameters n. So this logic we have to modify a little more so that like it will be scalable for the given any number of parameters. So we can do it in multiple ways. So you can write like you can implement one more, you can return one more in nested function param3, and again param3, and again param3 should return a function again, and it should accept the parameter 4. Like that you have to write again one more nested function inside parameter 4, and like that, like you have to write n number of nested functions. The nested structure is getting little bigger, and it will be again difficult to maintain. So let's apply the recursion concept here, which solves your solution scalable and in a better readable and flexible way. So what we can do by applying this, so let's check if the parameter 2 is passed, it should return the result, of course. If the parameter 2 is passed, that means in this case some parameter 2 is passed, then call the same function again with the sum of 1 and 2, and it will accept the parameter 2 as it returns this function, and next time the function will be called with the parameter 3. So what we can do, param1 plus param2 okay, and the termination condition for your recursion comes here. If the parameter 2 is not passed, then simply pass the parameter 1, which is the accumulated result of all the previous parameters being passed. So this is how it looks like. So now let's look at this 1 and 2, and it should return your function. So parameter 2 is available, that is number 2 is available, so we are calling sum of inputs with 1 plus 2, and then next time it will be the function again, the inner function again will be called with the next parameter 3. Like that it will be it will be iterated and recursively called till n number of parameters, and at the end we have a call again with the empty parameters. That time parameter 2 will be undefined, and till now whatever is accumulated result you have from 1 to n input parameters, that you just simply return it. So first let's check, so but you have to call with this like this. Yeah, first let's check with this only 2 parameters. It should return you 3. Yes, it worked for the previous solution. Now let's add more parameters to your call, and now check. So yeah, 1 plus 2 plus 6 plus 4 10, and like that if you pass like n number of parameters, yeah, n number of parameters, it should return you the expected result 16. Yes, this is how the regular function, if you look at this, right, this is an important question which will be asked in the front end and JavaScript interviews. When you look at this, it will be very scary to understand, but the solution is very simple. It's just 2 lines, and you can make it more simpler. Anyways, we are using the fat arrow functions, and we just have only one statement. So as we know that in fat arrow functions, when you have only one statement, and which is return statement, you don't need to write explicitly return and the function braces. You can make it very simpler. I'm just removing this, and see, so it's the same, but we just applied the the fat arrow function syntax flexibility, and it just now a very the scary statement, the scary question will be solved with one single line. So let's execute and see. Same result. Yes, we just modified the syntax. Okay, I hope you understood the concept of currying. Thank you so much.